Yo, here's a quick question for you. Can you guess who this is? Since he was young, his hobbies over the years included skiing, wrestling, tennis, basketball, table tennis, swimming, volleyball, soccer, badminton, and even skateboarding. But you probably know him better as Roger Federer, probably the greatest tennis player of all time, even though he only started taking tennis more seriously as a teenager. Now, usually when people find out about that story, they're quick to point out that it's surprising that he became that good, despite the fact that he had all these different kinds of hobbies and that he started out relatively late compared to other players. But if you take a look at the science and the psychology behind performance and success, there's a case to be made that he actually became good not despite of his hobbies, but because of them. Which brings me to Noah Lyles, a record-holding Olympic athlete who has recently been making waves with his insistence on running his races with little cardboard trading cards tucked into his shirt. These cards come from a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! And for those of you who don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is essentially a Japanese card game filled with monsters and spells, originally popularized in the early 2000s by the animated Yu-Gi-Oh! TV show. In essence, it's very nerdy and not something that you would expect to be taken seriously by someone so successful and so motivated. But again, I think he's another case of someone who might be onto something that the rest of us are missing. After I did a little bit more digging, I started to realize that some of the most successful people in the world regularly bring their hobbies to work, and there's quite a lot of evidence to suggest that this is no accident. In fact, there are 4 very specific ways in which your hobbies can actually make you more successful. So go grab your favorite video game or sci-fi novel or 3,000 piece puzzle and let's get to work. First up, the Generalist Effect. Okay, before we go on, let's first go back to our little guessing game. This is an admittedly very old photo of a rather well-known artist who jumped from being an art dealer to a language teacher to a preacher to a bookseller to a missionary worker before picking up a book that translates to the guide to the ABCs of drawing while he was in his late 20s, and the rest, they say, is history. Moving up to modern times, this is a picture of a famous actor back when he was still in school. His hobbies over the years included video games, fantasy novels, and a tabletop game called Warhammer 40k. But you probably know him better as Henry Cavill, a literal superstar who has taken up iconic roles such as Superman himself and Geralt from The Witcher. We often get told the story of Mozart writing his first compositions at age 6, or of Tiger Woods being given his first putter when he was just 7 months old. Essentially, we get told that to be wildly successful, we need to be specialists. But funnily enough, being a specialist is actually the exception to the norm when it comes to success, because often when you sort of lock into just one thing and you get tunnel visioned into it, then you are sort of running a very high risk for burnout, and you tend to start missing the bigger picture. Instead, the author David Epstein argues that being more of a generalist is the best thing you can do for your own success. The authors Rick Rubin and Austin Kleon expand on this idea by talking about something called your surface area of ideas. Essentially, the more points of information that you can connect and draw on, the more creative you become and the better you become at innovating and problem solving. Here's a fun fact: scientists who end up winning Nobel Prizes are 22 times more likely to have hobbies outside of work compared to their standard colleagues. A big reason as to why hobbies are so important is that they increase your surface area of ideas. They allow you to make different kinds of connections and to come up with new and interesting solutions to problems that you might not have considered otherwise. They open up your field of view and they allow you to see new opportunities. Opportunities that can be hard to spot when you just always keep your head down and never allow yourself to focus on anything outside of work. Often the best kinds of solutions that lead to the most innovation come from a place of creativity that in turn just comes from interacting with new ideas and different kinds of people. Which brings me to point number 2, the network effect. A common side effect of engaging in hobbies, especially hobbies that have a strong community or that involve group activities, is that you sort of naturally end up building new connections and building a stronger network, i.e., you just meet new people. Take, for instance, the world of gaming. The gaming community is vast and diverse, and participating in it can connect you with people from all walks of life. These connections can lead to unexpected collaborations, new job opportunities such as becoming an online video game streamer, or simply a broader understanding of different perspectives by engaging with different kinds of fans and seeing how they react to different scenarios. Consider the story of John Carmack, a legendary game developer who co-founded ID Software and helped create iconic games like Doom and Quake. Carmack's passion for gaming and programming brought him into contact with other like-minded individuals, leading to a collaborative environment that pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the gaming industry. Without his network of fellow enthusiasts, it's hard to imagine that he would have achieved the same level of success. On top of that, hobbies that regularly have social interactions, such as team sports or book clubs, help to improve your interpersonal skills, or in other words, they just teach you how to talk to people, and skills such as communication and empathy are extremely useful in a professional setting. Studies have found that the more diverse and extensive your network, the more opportunities that come your way. This not only boosts your career, but also increases your chances of stumbling upon the next big break or innovative idea. But speaking of innovative ideas, let's talk about the Super Mario Bros. Effect. The Super Mario Bros. Game is a classic, beloved by many for its fun and challenging gameplay. But beyond the nostalgia, there's a valuable lesson hidden in those pixelated worlds: the power of persistence and problem solving. In the game, Mario encounters numerous obstacles, enemies, and puzzles. To succeed, players must learn from their mistakes, try different strategies, and keep pushing forward despite setbacks. This process of trial and error is essential for developing a resilient mindset. Applying this to real life, hobbies that involve persistence and problem solving can help to develop these same skills in your day-to-day life. Whether it's playing chess, solving puzzles, or even just sitting down and doing coding, these things all help to train your brain to think a bit more critically, but also a bit more creatively. It helps you to look at challenges and see opportunities for growth instead of these insurmountable obstacles. Take Sarah Blakely, for example. She spent 7 years selling fax machines door to door, and during this time, she also engaged in various creative activities, including stand-up comedy. Her hobby of performing comedy helped her to develop a thick skin and the ability to handle rejection, which proved invaluable in her business journey. Blakely's persistence and willingness to learn from her experiences ultimately led to her creating a billion-dollar company called Spanx. So the next time you find yourself stuck, try to go back to the kid version of you and try to think a little bit more like Mario. Try to think which different avenues there are of going forward, or how you can overcome the obstacle that is sitting right in front of you, and just keep moving forward. Number 4, the undoing effect. The undoing effect states that positive emotions can physically undo feelings of stress and anxiety. This was an idea I originally came across in Sean Acker's book, The Happiness Advantage, and he argues that undoing negative feelings such as stress can wildly increase our ability to succeed. Nowadays, everything tends to be very fast-paced, and it can be easy to fall into the trap of constant hustle. But being able to take a break and being able to recharge is very important for long-term success. Engaging in hobbies provides this much-needed break and gives your mind a chance to just unwind a little bit and to recharge for whatever is coming next. Studies have shown that activities like meditation, reading, or even taking a walk can significantly reduce stress and improve mental health. This downtime not only boosts your well-being, but also enhances your productivity and creativity when you return to work. A perfect example of this is Bill Gates, who is known for his Think Weeks. Twice a year, he retreats to a secluded cabin to read, reflect, reflect and unwind. These breaks are credited with sparking many of his innovative ideas and strategic decisions for Microsoft. Hobbies offer a similar benefit. They provide a kind of mental space when your mind can just wander, and sometimes in that state, you end up finding new solutions to problems that you've been grappling with. Whether it's painting, gardening, or playing an instrument, these activities are all a form of active meditation, and it helps you to reset and to tackle problems again from a fresh perspective. So next time you feel overwhelmed, don't be afraid to take a step back and to engage with one of your hobbies. It's not really a waste of time if you see it as more of an investment in yourself. It's a chance to kind of set the stage for better creativity and productivity in the long run, because you're actually taking care of yourself as you're running this race. So to go back to Noah Lyles, go back out there and run your race, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all. Thanks for watching.